I've noticed that there's another series of TV shows on called Alone in the Wild. This particular set of TV shows is on DMAX or DMAX, or whatever it's called. But in this set of TV shows, each week a celebrity is left in a sort of wild area for a week. Last week's episode, the celebrity couldn't make fire, so he used his flares to make the fires. So I guess in those circumstances, the celebrity versions aren't as equipped, I guess. They're not showing you the skills precisely, they're just showing you the being alone part. Whether it's the celebrity versions of the shows or survival shows or something, they're still doing the thing that they're saying, I think. They're still alone in the wild. It's still a challenge. Well, a few skills, but not like any sort of expert level. There's always a different option. I remember there was a TV show, Alone with Bears, I think it was called, where someone stayed on a nature reserve of bears or something, and he had to move camp every now and then, but he did that because he wanted to get close to the bears. And I think when people do these Alone in the Wild shows, they've got different reasons for doing them, like whether they want to just get the alone part, or whether they want to learn about survival alone, or whether they want to get close to something, you know, whether they're trying to seek peace, or whether they're trying to seek learning about survival, or, you know, there's different things that they can get from it. I suppose there's also different levels at which they involve the camera that they're left with. I think the best Alone in the Wild show I can think of was one. I think he was in Canada or something, and he was completely on his own, and he didn't want to see bears and stuff. He knew there was bears in the area, but he'd like shout and stuff so that they knew he was there to keep away, I guess. So he didn't startle any bears. He wasn't there for the aim of bears or anything, but I don't know. I think he stayed in the wild for like 60 days or something. I think in the end he had to come back because he was getting too hungry. Well, he's basically starving. I think he said that he wouldn't be starving if he was allowed to eat the moose, but you're not allowed to. Getting food was the most difficult thing. I suppose, in a sense, in some ways, the TV show where he was alone in the wild for a long period of time, and he got really used to it, and he got to... in some ways, it's really appealing because he didn't have, like, social constructs and stuff keeping him doing some... You know, he could just swim in the river or whatever, or go fishing or catching, or just doing stuff like that. Whereas I think when that guy stayed alone in the wild for a long period of time, he had like a wire around his campsite main thing, I guess, and he stored his food away from the campsite. So if animals did come looking for the food, they wouldn't be looking in the same place that he was. I guess it's stuff that if I did, it would be like frowned upon. If I just went down to the river now and jumped in, some people would be like, "What are you doing?" Although I have, of course, been in the water at home. Frog spawn down there, Louis, I think. I think I'm genuinely interested in those sorts of shows, you know, like Alone in the Wild and stuff. I think one day it'd be good to do something like that. Yeah. I made a couple of videos, probably didn't go down well, but I made a video ages ago about girls peeing outside, and it's a bit of a joke, but still. On the other hand, it's kind of serious, because it is, I guess, more difficult for females to pee outside than males. And also last week I made a video about sleeping, and I would say those are like the two basic things. If you can't go to the toilet outside and you can't sleep outside, and you can't do any sorts of camping outside or stuff like that, because you can't do that, because if you're outside in the wild for a long period of time, you wouldn't just be able to nip home every now and then to use the toilet or sleep in a bed. You couldn't just nip home. So I'd say like step one is remove dependency from things you get at home. And I would say step two is gain ability, like the ability to get food, or the ability to defend yourself, or the ability to make things, like if you needed to make a shelter or whatever. I'd say those are the two main steps to be able to do anything in the wild, is to be less dependent on things that you get home, and then to be able to do things in the wild, self-sufficiency. And after that, you'd be pretty alright, I think. Probably. You'd be pretty alright.